Is Al Gore correct? Do we know for sure that this crisis is gripping our planet? No, we don't. We aren't really feeling the effects of climate change, are we? Of course not. Look at the temperatures. There does not seem to be any extraordinary temperature spike to me. So why did we buy these stories? Why are we letting these prophets drive fear into our minds? We only believed it because it was all we had to go on. And it was in the news, and the politicians spoke of it regularly. We would be crazy to think otherwise, right? Today, I've chosen to be a skeptic. I was given the chance to think otherwise. I was given other information to ponder. With a few ideas, I was encouraged to search for answers, and I began to form an opinion of my own. People have been fretting over climate change for a very long time, longer than just the recent one about global warming. In the 60s, it was thought we were heading for an ice age. Media made the public believe this matter, just as we are now. Whether or not Earth heats or cools, temperature fluctuation is a natural cycle the Earth undergoes. When we look back into historical temperature records all over the world, we find Earth has fluctuated from extreme colds to way hotter than our climate is currently. Thousands of years ago, when Vikings lived along the islands of Greenland and Iceland, they grew crops in relatively warm growing season. Now those areas are covered in meters of ice. Someone once mentioned to me that about a news article that claimed global warming would cause Antarctica to disappear by 2020. How could that possibly be true? Ice melts at approximately 0 degrees, and the average temperature in Antarctica is negative 50 degrees Celsius. Sometimes the temperature can plunge to negative 120. That means that the temperature would have to increase by at least 90 degrees. At this rate, the Earth would be so warm that near the equator, it would begin to evaporate. This is clearly just another threat made by someone who is uninformed and relying on the public to be so naive and gullible that they would buy such outright propaganda. Global warming is said to have been caused by CO2 greenhouse gases emitted by machinery. Then why are CO2 gases found naturally in this planet? They are needed by plants in order to breathe and perform photosynthesis. We human beings and animals alike exhale carbon dioxide, CO2 as well. Either way, CO2 is CO2, whether produced by humans or nature. It's the smog and the chemicals that are emitted by our vehicles that can affect air quality, not CO2 gases. So why exactly would people such as Al Gore and other politicians be promoting these obviously questionable ideas of global warming? Theories made by different people all claim that various governments worldwide are collaborating and plotting a joint governance. By creating stories such as this, it would help gain power and funding to make global governance a fantasy, a reality, being plotted without our awareness. There is a desire among scientists, government leaders, and environmentalists to find a political cause that would enable them to organize, propagandize, enforce conformity, and exercise political influence. A totalitarian government would control us and inform of a communistic or dictatorship government. All the main players, from politicians to scientists to big corporations and the United Nations, would benefit from instilling fear into billions of human beings over the unproven theory of man-made global warming. Scientists have twisted their results to support the theory and protect the funding of climate change. Now, I don't believe everything I hear, and I'm still very skeptical about all topics of conspiracy and politics. I'm not expecting you to believe everything I'm saying, but I am encouraging you to look beyond the media. Think outside the box, be skeptical, and form an opinion of your own. Thank you for your time.